guys, I'm Steph.
And I'm Richard. And Helica Bermudez asks, how are they towards religion? Are they very religious? Are they open-minded to other religions? How big of a part does religion play in their lives? What's the main religion? And do people preach or advertise their church?
Whoa.
Heavy question, dude.
Thankfully, it's one of my areas of expertise.
Sure is. This has to be the most sensitive subject we've covered on Like It so far, don't you think?
I don't know. Plastic surgery, dating Korean people.
This is the subject that really gets to people that you can't really, it's kind of like politics. You can't really have a sane conversation about religion without getting to what people believe and what people believe where they go when they die and all these sorts of things that people kind of don't want to talk about.
Which is why I want to focus on the facts.
I realized in doing the bit of research before we started filming this just now that there's no way I can talk about this whole thing unless I say what I am.
You purge yourself.
And it's not about me, but the fact of the matter is I grew up Catholic. From a young age, I realized to me, personally, it was bullshit. For a long time, I was that person that told everyone, well, I'm Catholic, but I don't go to church. And then in my early 30s, I realized I'm an atheist. That's what I am. And at the same time I realized I was an atheist, I also realized I don't want to push my beliefs on anybody else.
Should I give my little religious background?
Go for it, please.
Okay, I grew up a Christian, I grew up Protestant, and my undergraduate major is in Christian ministries with a focus in cross-cultural studies and children's ministry. So I came to Korea, I kind of gotten some jaded reactions and interactions with the church before I came to Korea. When I first came to Korea, I started attending a church and had some bad experiences, so I quit attending.
Actually, how many times did you go to church? Twice?
No, I went about 4 times.
Here?
Yes.
I thought you only went once or twice.
No, I went 4 times, but I went to a church in Gangnam, so it took 2 hours to get there, and when you have a bad experience and you go 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back because I didn't understand the bus system, and you get lost a couple of times, it really puts you off attending.
Now, do you mind if I ask you what your bad experience was?
My bad experience was people just didn't talk to me. It was just like, I came the whole way. The service was great, but for me personally, I wanted the sense of community, and that's part of why I was going to the church in the first place, is to try to build community in Korea. And when I didn't get that, you know, it's kind of open door policy. You walk in and you walk right back out.
Do you think that maybe they were just shy because a lot of them maybe didn't speak English, or were they just sort of antisocial?
No, it's an all English speaking church. They were just rather cliquish, the one that I attended.
I see. So,
but all that aside,
we're gonna attempt to answer these.
Those are our religious backgrounds. I'm trying not to judge that and put that into what we are actually saying. What I'm saying, and probably what you are saying, we're trying to be rather impartial and not be biased.
Let's just put it this way. She and I don't see eye to eye when it comes to religious beliefs.
Not at all.
And we share a house together. We share a bed together. We do this
we share
together.
A marriage together.
Yeah, and it somehow works. It doesn't bother me that she doesn't believe what I believe, and vice versa. And so in that way, we hope that we portray also to you that we're not trying to influence the way you think about Korea in any way other than the way that we see it.
Yes.
So we are going to attempt to tackle these one by one, right?
Well,
that's how I have my notes. How are they towards religion?
I think that they're pretty open-minded towards religion. You can actually have this conversation with Korean people. Even the strong Christian people that I've met have been fairly open to having a conversation and agreeing to disagree.
I think that there are very religious people here. That's just my perspective. As a person coming from the US who was raised with a more individualistic perspective on life, it's only obvious to me that when you come here and see the Confucius style, collectivist mentality, it plays right into the growth of religion.
I can see that.
Yeah.
In fact, Confucianism is one of the religions that actually is in Korea, but they try not to actually say that it's part of Korea. In fact, many people wouldn't actually associate themselves as Confucianist, but they still go through a lot of the collectivism, a lot of the hierarchical status that is Confucianist, and they still do a lot of like the ancestor worship, for example, at Chuseok.
Are they very religious? We kind of already answered this one, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. They are pretty religious, though I wouldn't say everybody is religious.
Some of them can't be bothered, and it's just because they're so busy with their life, because everyone in this country is busy and working hard. Judging by the amount of churches I see around the country, they're religious.
They are pretty religious. In fact, your major religions are Buddhism and Christianity. You see a lot of Buddhist temples around and you see a lot of Christian churches. Every time I've been on a rooftop, it's almost like you can look out in Seoul or Gyeonggi-do, the provinces around Seoul. I swear you can see like 10 crosses at night just looking.
Because in Korea, they're lit up neon colors.
Yes.
And so that's how you can see them. So even at night, you see them actually more clearly than you do during the day.
Yes. And the other thing that you see is slightly controversial.
What do you mean?
I mean the swastika.
Yeah, what is that all about? I've never been able to understand that.
That's the Buddhist symbol. That means it's a Buddhist temple. They use what looks like the Nazi swastika symbol, but I promise you guys, it's not the Nazi swastika.
Now, that explains a lot to me, because I was just about to disagree with you and say, you know what, I see a lot of churches, but I don't see a lot of Buddhist temples, but you do see the swastika in more places than I thought I saw Buddhist temples, and now I'm learning right along with you guys.
Buddhism, for example, has been around since the 4th century, and so you see temples all over, especially in the countryside. They're really beautiful.
You do see them in the countryside a lot more. That's where I see the Buddhist statue when you go to the national parks. Not to cut you off, but you see in the cities, you see the churches everywhere, and you feel the Buddhist influence more in the countryside.
But they're so beautiful, and they are very peaceful if you actually do end up in South Korea. I highly recommend going and checking them out. They got the beautiful lanterns, and it's a really nice place to go and check out and take pictures.
Are they open-minded to other religions?
For me, I would say generally yes. In fact, I think that they're more open-minded than some of the people that I knew back in the USA.
I slightly disagree with you. I think that they're open-minded if the person who is not in their religion is in another religion that is similar, that has similar sorts of beliefs as their own. Like, for example, the different sects of Christianity. If they're in another sect of Christianity, then they're like, well, that's fine.
Most of your major cities have mosques, which is something that you don't necessarily see in every major American city. You also have Hinduism, and you do have Judaism, especially around Seoul. So I think that that's pretty open-minded.
How big of a part does religion play in their lives?
I think Koreans are generally fairly religious people. I mean, it goes the whole way back to Korean shamanism, which you can still see in Korea today by the wooden totem poles that they have in some of the more country or park areas.
Oh, we actually saw some, the Jamsil Olympic Park.
Yes, you can also see it in Korean shamans, the female shamans.
They got female shamans here?
They have female shamans. It's kind of a not so popular thing anymore. It's kind of an underground thing.
It used to be more popular before.
It's the Korean traditional religion that goes beyond even Confucianism. You can actually see it in Korean dramas like Arang and the Magistrate has the female shaman. And actually my first apartment in Korea had a spell that was stamped and put above the entry door. I don't think you ever saw that, but it struck me when I first came. I was like, oh my god.
Was it in English?
No, of course not.
But then how did you know it was a spell?
I assumed, and I just got bad vibes walking underneath it. Actually, one of the biggest churches in the world, the Yo Edo Church, is in South Korea. Do you know about this one?
No, I don't know about this one. Tell me.
Okay, it's like the largest church in the world. It has so many different languages, so many different people. Over 250,000 people attend this church on a regular basis.
I have heard of this. It's been in the news.
Yes.
Okay.
It's huge. Mega churches are really popular here, especially Pentecostal mega churches. And I've actually had a lot of students who worked at Pentecostal churches or attended Pentecostal churches. There are several mega churches in our city. There's a big Catholic presence in our city. Did you know that there's a nunnery like 4 blocks that way?
Does it have a little picket fence in front of it?
Across the main street, and if you walk up a little ways, it's like this little tiny hole in the wall.
I know what you're talking about.
Fenced off place.
It looks like dormitory.
Yes.
First floor dormitories only.
With porches, which is very unusual for Korea.
I've never seen any nuns come out of there at all. What's the main religion?
Probably the one religion that caught me the most off guard here was the Unification Church. And this is what I told you I was going to talk about with Reverend Sung Myung Moon.
So what does unification mean? He wants to unify North and South Korea? Is that what the point of the name is?
No. It started in 1954, and the whole thing is he claimed that he was the second coming of Christ, and that he and his wife are the true family, and their kids are the true children of God. And they want peace and unification all around the world.
Now, how big is this church area? Is it really popular?
It's really big. It's international. They're most popular. You may have seen it on television. They're known for their big, giant, mass weddings with thousands and thousands of people, including people who have never met before from around the world that just get in arranged marriages.
Now, do they do that here in Korea?
Yes. They take over like the World Cup Stadium and they have like big giant wedding ceremony. You never seen it?
No.
I'll have to show you a video clip. You run into them all the time. They come knocking on our door, you know,
that's them?
Proclaiming the Church of the Holy Mother. That's them. Because Sung Myung Moon died and his wife now is in charge of the church and she is the Holy Mother of the true family. So that's them. Knock, knock, knock.
They do walk up and down our street here. They remind me of Jehovah's Witnesses that I'm aware of back home. When they find out that we don't speak Korean, you know what they do? They send some English speakers a couple of days later, and so then they're trying to speak English to us. And see, I don't know what church they're coming from. They could hand me a pamphlet. It could be any denomination under the sun.
They own the Yangpyeong ski resort.
Oh, the one where they're going to have the 2020 Olympics?
The 2018 Winter Olympics is hosted by the Unification Church. Well, not exactly, but it's hosted at that ski resort.
Why is that a problem?
That's a problem. Anytime religion and any religious organization has that much control, to me it's a problem.
Because?
Because
they're just spewing their influence onto people who are not necessarily part of the church yet, but could necessarily.
It's control. It's control.
Do people preach or advertise their church?
Yeah, I'd say that they do.
I see them on the river, and during Chuseok I saw a guy with a stand and a pamphlet. He was there, and he saw me coming in. I know that he wanted to stop me, but I was jogging. But I have been stopped on the river before by people who are giving out gifts. I had a lady give me gloves once and try and invite me to her church. And, you know, I'm half sweating. You know, it's not that I don't want to be friendly with her, but I was exercising.
She literally stopped your run. She halted your run.
She followed me. She tried to get in my way, and then when I tried to go around her, she kept following me, and I remember her kind of grabbing my elbow, so I stopped, and then I smiled at her real nice. I'm just trying to tell her, like, I'm not interested, but actually, you're interrupting my exercise time.
They also, like, you see them outside of the stations, all of your major train hubs. You'll see them in their, like, they have special vests and they have services with music outside. They'll have their worship team band out singing. You know, they do advertise their church. I've actually had students who offered me to go to their church services a few times. But generally they're very friendly, except for the ladies who are like, come to my church. And you're like, I want to keep running. So that's it for today's Life in Korea.
If you have a question, go ahead and leave us a note in the comments with your question, or write us a question on our blog, or you can head to facebook.com/HallyuBack and write us a note on our wall.
And like and favorite this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for awesome drama,
K-pop, and Life in Korea videos. That's it for today's Life in Korea. Experience it!